Okay, I am sewing. I don't know if you can see it. I'm doing the baby's blanket. Okay, I'm just sewing the baby's blanket. It's going to take some time because it's a pretty lengthy blanket. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's sewing on its own. Hold on, let me show you. See? And this is what it looks like so far. This is the cushiony part. And I'm sewing it inside out, so I'll show you it when I'm done. I just made myself do this project today. It's a Friday. And I haven't really felt like doing a lot. I have it in my room on this table. I usually do it in the kitchen, but the table's pretty sturdy. My daughter does her crafts on it, so yeah, it's working out fine. And I'm sewing it outside, and then I'm gonna turn it to the inside. You know, after I sew it, I'm gonna see me. I'm gonna turn it inside out. So I left a little opening. Where's my opening? I had up my other sewing machine, like my heavy duty one, but that baby was cutting up on me, and I think I did something. I'll have to check it out later. I just didn't have time to do it because I want to get this done. I was kind of experimenting, but here's the opening, and I'm going to pull this through so we can have the right side. See, I'm sewing it on the wrong side. And this is the right side, the darker colors that you see there. She's got elephants and cute little things in her bed, so I was supposed to finish this a while back, but she's small and she's growing. She'll be 6 months soon, so I said, well, I better give her a blanket and she can lay on the floor, put it in her bed. It's going to be really cute. I went and picked out this fabric at JOANNS a little while back, before she was even born. I was supposed to work on it, you know, for the baby shower and everything, but she had so many things, you know, so I said, well, I'll give her a little surprise later, which is a good idea. And not only that, I was going through some things where I was not really and truly in the mood to sew. I wasn't. So here it is. It's pretty tight. The stitches. You see it? You can loosen it if you want it a little looser, but I want to get it pretty tight, so I knew I was going to do that. So it doesn't open up on me, you know, whenever I you know, ever. I just want it to stay nice. Sometimes you have to sew over it again, like periodically, redo the sewing. Blankets and things do come loose sometimes, even the ones that you get from the store, especially I think the ones that you get from the store, because they make such bulk. Sometimes they don't take the care to really make sure I don't sew up the end, guys. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, it's over there. And then I'm gonna sew a nice little edging to it. And this is a pretty big blanket, so I'm hoping my edging is enough, because I'll go to the store and get some more if not. I wasn't sure if I had enough this is what I'm putting around the edges. You might say, oh, that doesn't look like a baby's, but I chose it and it's fine. You see it? And I've got silver in this, and this is pretty. I opened it to see if there's quite a bit of this, and this may go around it. I hope so. If not, I might have to get some more, because I don't want to just put it on one edge. It won't look right. I want to fit it around the whole blanket. And yes, I should have measured, and I thought I did measure how much I would need, but Okay, that's possibly going to be enough. So this is what I'm doing. It's going to be really cute for her. I have another one. It's a thinner blanket, and it's going to be pink. And I got some lace for that one, which is this one. This is a pink lace, but I'm still looking in here to see. Yeah, there's quite a bit. You see how much is there? But then again, my blankets are very long because I want them to be long. And I got a little extra fabric so I can make a little something else for her later on. I might make a baby pillow. Because then she can use it for her, just to lay in her bed. I might make Rosalind something out of it because she's, you know, I don't know. We'll see. And my Houdini is cutting up today because what he does is he doesn't eat all of his food, right? He doesn't eat all of his food. You see me? He doesn't eat all of his food, so he just eats like the good parts, like the tiny little seeds parts, and the part that's like just eating the dessert is what I call it, and that's the problem. So I try and not give him the food in there with the other right away. I try and see if he'll eat some of the other because there's things in there that he's supposed to be eating, but he just wants to eat the seeds. And not the sunflower seeds, but the some tiny seeds, you know. He's getting to where he doesn't really eat the sunflower seeds very much either, you know. I don't put too many in there because you're not supposed to have too many, but he even leaves that. And so, and there's other small little like pellets and things he's supposed to be eating in there, but he has been acting like a little freak. Like he doesn't want to eat that, you know, like, oh no, I'm not eating that, I'm just eating seeds. Like he's a parakeet or something. Even the parakeet is supposed to eat more than just her seeds. We've got millet, we've got other vegetables and things like that, fruits. But he won't even touch the fruits and stuff. She does. You know, I give her something, and there's certain things she may not like, but most of the stuff that I give her, she eats it if it's a vegetable or a fruit. But anyways, that's all what I'm doing today. I'm excited for the spring. The spring is here, and it's just, man, it's lovely. It's very lovely out. And when you get to the end, some people just go all the way to the end and let it sew through, but I can just turn it like this. Oh wait, let's go a little bit more, because you want to leave the exact amount on the end that you need. Do two, and then lift that up. Lift up your, I think it just needs one more. Make sure you put it down and then up whenever you want. Two, we'll do two. Turn it. Okay, yes, it's right on the edge. Instead of taking the whole thing out, and if you're doing a whole full thing, just leave it hooked up so you don't have to mess around with it. And this is looking good. I just don't want to run out of bobbin. I can still see it. I think I want to run out before I get finished with the whole blanket, but that's fine. This bobbin winder works beautifully. I just haven't used my machine in a while, and I was like, why is this thing cutting up? And, oh, this is beautiful. Looks good, guys. And it's at the edge, so if it does open it, I can just re-sew it. Because this is going to be like a thicker side, on the thicker side, so she can lay it on the floor. She may just save it for the winter time, I don't know. But, how did I get these needles upside down? Okay, let's take that out before I run over the, I don't want to run over the, where is it? Where's this needle? You hear him? Yeah, he's really mad. He's like acting really crazy because he wants me to cater to him, and the fact that he wants I don't even know how to put those on because it's just so close to the edge. But he wants me to cater to him, so he wants me to go ahead and give him the seeds, just the plain seeds. That's why you hear him like that. That's a loud shriek, which is annoying, but I just ignore him. Every time I play my videos too, and he's doing that, he does it to him. He does it. He makes that sound back to himself. Like he's saying, "Yeah, I know why I was mad." Something. But anyways, this is my room, by the way. I got my TV going. I'm watching a movie. Stuck myself. And sewing. I told myself, I said, I'm going to make sure I get some sewing today. I think that's my spring feeling, like wanting to sew. Wintertime, I like to knit. Summertime, I like to sew a little. That's the times. But we got this whole side done. And I haven't done this side yet, so I'm sure I'm going to run out of bobbin, but I do have some more white thread. I really need to go and buy more thread. I was in the store and I never really bought any more thread. And you can go over it, like I could, but I think it'll be fine. I could go over it on the other side, like two. Sometimes I do 2 rows. But because this thing is so tight, like the stitch is so tight, it should hold for a long time. For a long, long time. She'll be fine because she's not wild or anything with her blankets and stuff. When she gets a little older, she'll be dragging them around and doing stuff. But right now, she's a tiny little one. And it's a pretty big blanket, too. It's like cute enough to go on the floor, big enough, rather. And so when I put the little cushion in it, I just put the right sides together. So when I turn it in, it will be the right way, and I'll have to sew up this end, but I'm just going to sew the lace around anyways. So I'll just sew it around here, and that'll be how it goes. I think I can sew on this. Yeah, it should be perfectly fine. It's going to be challenging. I might have to sew it by hand. I don't know. We'll see. Even if I do sew that by hand and I have to sew this on the other side, that's fine because I'm just going to cover it with the lace anyway, or the edging. So, but today's Friday and everybody's, yes, I know I said that already, but I was just saying everybody's pretty much doing activities like games, Zoom, projects, and enjoying their Friday. My other son is still at work, but I think he's working late today because I texted him and found out. But yeah, if your family is not back, it's normally back at a normal time, which he does work different times. Sometimes he stays late, but check on them. Always check. You never know. These days that we're living in, crazy stuff is going on. So if they're not back by a certain time, don't say, "Oh, they just must have been." Yeah. No, call. Even if they say no, just call, or sister, brother, whatever you are to them. Do it anyways because it's better, checking and seeing, making sure everything's okay. It could be a flat somewhere. One time, it was so crazy. I was driving, and then one of my sons was pushing the car, and I was like, "What in the world?" This was like a couple years ago, and he was going to the gas station, and the gas station is like right down the street, but he kind of waited to the last minute and judged it wrong because the gauge doesn't really show it all the time. So that's why you got to write down the mileage and say, "Oh, I put it in this amount," because that gauge didn't work, and neither did the speedometer. So it ran out, and then I'm like just happened to be driving by, and I'm like, he looks familiar. wait a minute. I turn around like, oh no. So, you know, it just worked out fine. Look at what I did, you guys. I put this on the wrong side. So I gotta put these pins the other way so I can see what I'm doing. You wanna make sure your pins are the way you can see it as you're sewing, so you can pull them out. And usually the ball part, you want it on the edge so you can just pull it out. So you don't run over it with your needle, because if you do, I have run over needles. It broke my needle one time, and one time it didn't break it, but you can mess up your needles and things or machine running over the pin. So make sure you put them in a way that will that you can see them. You don't want to see high. I don't know if you can see that with the ball right there. Yeah. Anyways, for all you that sew, you know what I'm talking about. And this is for the ones that really don't think about it. I know a lady that didn't even put any needles on hers. She just sewed it up. And I'm like, I tried it and I'm like, yeah, I did it. But when I'm doing something that's like a certain thing, a project that I know I don't want off track, then I pin them. I make sure I pin them. Is the part that's open? Yeah. So we're gonna have to lift the needle. Should have went that way. But yeah, I want to make sure it's exactly on there, you know, correctly, so I don't have a mess. And then they've got lines on your sewing machine where you can measure and say, oh, this is how many inches I want my stitching to be away from the edge or whatever, you know. I usually sew by a pattern too, but the blankets are pretty easy. You don't have to really have a pattern. Just cut it the size that you want, and should be good to go. I will invest in a new machine one day. I've had this machine for some years, and then I got my dad's machine, which it's really acting up. I'm not used to that one, so I don't know what it's doing. Is it doing something that needs repairing, or is it just I'm not used to handling it and it's something that I'm doing wrong with it? So I just have to do a little research. And you know, it could be as little as the needle is not the right size that you're using for to sew on your particular machine, or it could be the thread, it could be the setting, because I'm not used to the settings on that one. So you got to make sure they're not too loose or too tight. This one I wanted a little bit tighter because of what it is, you know, and you don't want it coming apart. So I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me do this all night, but I just wanted you to see what I was doing, and I will show you on another video. How many minutes is that? 18. I'll show you part 2, and I'll let you see that when it's completed, okay? If you look at some of the other videos I did some cute little bags for like knitting, you know, those little projects that I do periodically. I haven't really done a project in a while. All I do for these blankets is I go to, well, we go to JOANNS. That's where we shop at. They have Michael's too. I don't think I went to Michael's for this, did I? I'll look on the fabric and see, but sometimes I do get it from Michael's. I might have gone there to get this. Can't remember, but wherever I went, it's either Michael's or JOANNS. Those are the two fabric stores that I like to go to. I'll look around and, you know, I'll do a little more research after this virus thing has been calmed down, and maybe I'll find some more places, because I know like some years ago I found a place where I was making baby clothes for my own little baby that I was going to have, and it had the cutest little handprints, and it was here where I live at too, and it was, but it was in one of those little places where you wouldn't expect. It's like when you're driving down the boulevard, then you see, you know, fabric, and you're like, wait a minute. In one of those little office building type things that you wouldn't expect to see fabric. That's where I found it, and it was the cutest material that I'd seen in a while. It was very, very nice. And so that's where you go and look sometimes and say, ooh, this is a place that I want to go. Let's see, is that close to the edge? Yeah. Because on the back side of this, it's a little fuzzy stuff. And I think I sewed too close to the edge of there. Hold on. Did I? That one I might have to. No, it's fine. That's why I didn't put it on the very edge. This is where I cut this side, and I'm stopping here because there's a opening there. But anyways, I will be back. I'll be back to show you. One more thing I was going to tell you. And I might have said this before. I don't know. I was sewing one night because we went to the assembly. It's a assembly where we go and listen to Bible instruction. Beautiful stuff. And I wanted to make our clothes, so I was like sewing late night, and I kind of fell asleep, and this thing hit my finger. I was like so tired. I was like early in the morning doing this. Late night rather. And that woke me up. Well, I was like, whoa, I'll never sew again when I'm sleeping. So be careful with your machine. You can really hurt yourself. I was so thankful I didn't really damage my finger, because it just hit me, this little part banged against my finger, and that alerted me. So, gotta respect your tools, your machines and things. Alright, so anyways, I will, can you see me at all? Still doing the keto, and let's see, I'm almost at the end of this thing. Still doing that. Goldfish are fine so far. I just gave them shrimp tonight. I haven't showed them in a while. I know people like to look at that because I've seen all the views, and I will be back on them again. Ooh, I want to wait till they get really luscious too, because they're growing. And see what else happens with them. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't want to leave too big of a space. I don't think I need too big of a space to pull the fabric through. Just enough to kind of, let me see, open it and then pull it through. Probably, let's see, how far do we want it? Leave it. Uh-oh. See, I didn't put any pins here because I was going to leave it open. But I think I'll just leave a little space like that. That's big enough, because I don't want too much to have to sew up, because I'm trying to sew it the wrong side. And I'm going to put lace around it. Not lace, but an edging on it. Anyways, I'm going to go up to here, and then I have this amount. That still might be quite a bit. And these are upside down anyways. I'm going to do it the other way. Take them out. Eat your food, young man, and you'll be alright. Eat your food. Is that so over here? Oh, I think I started there because the other machine I was going to use it. That's for like the heavier material, but it started doing some retarded, very weird, crazy stuff. So I'm like, I'll mess with you a little bit later and see what's going on, but I didn't have time to devote that much time to it. It was like really slowing me down quite a bit because I was trying to get it done. That's the main thing. So that's why I have this little piece that sewed. I was wondering what happened. Oh, it got sewed right there. It's my sample. I should do it on a separate piece, but I'm like, no, I don't know how to sew. But then it happened. It happened. Nope, 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 nope. You don't want to do that because now it's trying to put a hole there. Now this design that I have, it said it's design. Okay, I see Joanne on there. So that's where I got it. That's what I was thinking I got it from there. I'm losing that right there. Okay, let's see. It says Joanne. You see it? Joanne. That's our fabric place. So did I sew it all the way around this way or what? I'm trying to figure out. Is this sewed? No, it's not. But I sewed a little bit of it. But I don't want it sewed right now because that's the part that messed up. So that's from the other machine. Anyways, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to go on around this way with it. Ooh, I'm missing the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. Yeah. When it messes up on another machine, then you pretty much can take it out easily because you didn't lock it. Like back up and lock the stitch. Not the stitch, but you can do that with the machine. Use some cheap needles because that one's bending already. So anyways, where's my thing at? I have where I take the stitching out. It's somewhere. Where'd I put you? You in here? Okay. I usually keep them in somewhere in here. I don't want to mess with the machine too much. Is it on that side? No, it's not over there. Okay, let me check. I got another bag. Oh, it's over here, I think. It's not in there. Where'd I put you? Where are you hiding? Not in there, guys. In this one bag. Check over here. Oh, I'm gonna have to clean up here. Yeah, I found it. Because I forgot my daughter uses it sometimes. Okay. Here we go. And I didn't put it back. You should have more light in your room if you're not comfortable with taking stitches out. But this is a seam ripper. Oops. And you just see where your thread is and rip it out. Just be careful because you could put a hole in your fabric, you know, if you don't get the right place where you're supposed to be taking the stitches out, you know. So just take your time. One time I had to rip out a whole thing. It was a friend of mine, ours. We were doing some sewing for them. I mean, it was a ton of it. I might have told this story before, but it was like silk. Very fine fabric, beautiful. And I was like, oh no, I didn't sew it wrong. And it was sewed wrong on a part. Well, actually, I think she told me that she didn't want it hemmed. And I was like, oh. So I took it out. And I had to be really careful because it was really fragile. But the thing is when I got there, it looked a little raggedy on the ends. And I was like, I didn't like the fact that that was the job I did. I would have hemmed it so it would have looked a lot, unless they just wanted it rustic looking, but I was like, it just looked frazzled and hanging unfinished, you know. I wasn't happy with it, but that's how they wanted it, so I said, are you sure you don't want it? No, we don't want it, we didn't want it hemmed. And I was like, ooh, okay. I did some pillowcases, some tablecloths for them too. And they were really nice, what are they called? Really pretty pink color for something. I forgot what it was for, but she used me a couple times to do stuff, and that time in particular was the last time, and I was like, I don't like how that was, because of course this pandemic hit, so I don't do too much of that anymore. But we were up all night doing those because my family helped me, They helped me, so I took turns. Some of them fell asleep, got tired, like, ooh, we're tired. Because they had to be done by a certain time, and I didn't get them till kind of close to the time that they had to be done. And it was like 40 or 50 of them. So this little faithful machine was the one that did it too. So it's almost time to get another one day. Just keep making this one, maybe keep it for a while. I got this a long time ago. Okay, so I think that's far enough for me to be able to turn it inside out. And I hope, I just really hope, it's not too close to that edge, and it looks pretty close to the edge there. Right? It should be fine. Okay, because you don't want it bulky on the side. Anyways, I will be back. Part 2, you can see probably won't come back until the finished result. Okay, you guys, see you later. The thing I wanted to show you is, when you end it, because I'm ending it here because I'm going to leave the opening here so I can pull the material through here to the right side. Did I do? Yeah, do there. Whenever you pull your thread, there should be a side where you can tie it. Just pull on it, and then you'll see one pop up on the opposite side, and you should be able to tie it so it doesn't come loose. I still tie it even though I go back up to knot it, because you never know. So I just do a little extra tie there, and then it's going to be inside, but you can still trim it. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the other side, and I will see you guys in the next video. One more thing I want to show is whenever you get ready to go back to the part after I took the space and back, you're going to do the same thing for this. You're going to push this so you can go back, and that locks in your stitch. It makes a knot, okay? Before you continue. Hopefully I got it. Just press this back so it goes back, okay? Always lock your stitch in before you start sewing again. Okay, there's one more thing I want to show you. Like this, you see this is the twist. You lift the needle up and down. This you're supposed to only do towards you. rewind it towards you. Don't ever do it backwards because that's what knots up your thread. And I learned it from Sewing Machine Success YouTuber, because I was thinking about my tension was too tight or whatever. But don't turn the knob back with your machine unless you have some different type of machine, new age, where you can do it. Normally the older ones, you don't want to push it back because that does some things with your bobbin and your sewing thread. It messes it up and it will make it knot up down there. So that's one more point I wanted to bring out. You could have been sewing for years and you're like, I don't want to sew today because it's going to get knotted up. But that's why it does, because you don't push it, make it go backwards, only forwards. And that keeps it, machines are so intricate and detailed and made a certain way where you have to follow the way it's supposed to go. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. But anyways, I'll see you in the next video whenever it's completed. Okay, unless I feel bored, and I'll go back on before it's done. Okay, you guys, have a good day. Actually, not that I'm bored, that I could be bored, but it could be something that I really wanted to show you that I didn't share with you that could help you in your sewing or whatever. Okay? See you guys in the next video.